Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Division video. And in this video we are returning to the Lincoln Tunnel Checkpoint Challenge Mode mission. And the reason we're doing that is because I want to break this down as an actual guide. You guys might remember a little while ago I uploaded a complete playthrough from start to finish, about 25 minutes long, of one of our early Challenge Mode runs on Lincoln Tunnel. And the reason I did that at the time was just because I thought it might be interesting to you guys and you might be able to sort of see how our team did the whole thing. However, I have been getting quite a few questions from people recently saying, how do you do challenge mode? Every time I try and do it, I get completely obliterated. And I figured what would be a lot more beneficial is to actually break these challenge mode missions down into guides. So what I'm going to do is jump through the mission, talk about the key different sections and explain how you should tackle them, and also of course speak about some recommended gear setups and some different things, so hopefully this should help you. So if you guys do find it useful, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below and let me know if you have any questions, but let's get started. So to begin with, something I said in my last video, but if you are a fresh level 30, i.e. you've just hit level 30, you've unlocked daily missions, you've unlocked challenge mode, do not try this to begin with. The main reason for that is because if you hit level 30 to begin with, your gear will be a mixture of, say, high and low level items. You'll have some 27 pieces there, 28, 29, etc., meaning that you won't really be geared for this. Ideally, if you want to do challenge mode, firstly you do need to bear in mind it is a team-based activity, so whereas you can go through in solo hard mode, you're not really going to be soloing challenge mode, but on top of that, you ideally want to make sure that pretty much all your gear pieces are at least level 30. 31 gear pieces will make things a lot easier, but 30 should see you through. And aside from that, when it comes to people sort of saying, how much firearms or stamina should I have, realistically, more important than those stats is just having a solid team. Because if you have a team that can back you up, then you can kind of assume different roles, and ultimately you've got people that you can rely on to pick you up. The main thing you need to bear in mind with challenge mode is you need to take it slow. It's not a mission you will just be running through and, firming bullets and, running up in an enemy's faces. You are going to have to take things slow. You're going to have to be a lot more kind of methodical about things. But if you tackle it in the right way, then you should be alright. So, with that being said, Lincoln Tunnel Checkpoint, let's start at the beginning. Believe it or not, shout out to 269 for this one. This is actually something I only found out today, but you can actually skip the very first part. See, if you walk straight down and then you turn right and jump over the wall, this path here is initially used because you can actually get the drop on the enemies, but instead of that, you can just basically walk straight past them. You can walk straight past the first section, straight past the second section, underneath the bridge, past the snipers, and once you go past them, you will then get the prompt on screen saying secure the tunnel entrance, and it basically means you're at the next part of the mission. The guys behind you won't then run forward, so you don't have to worry about clearing them out. You can simply bypass that bit to begin with. And while it might seem a little bit cheesy, ultimately those guys just serve to slow you down and waste your ammo, so you might as well bypass them if you're struggling. From there, what you want to do when you come up the tunnel is hug the right wall, climb the ladder, and this part up here is where you're going to do 99% of the fights. Now, in terms of recommended skills, every single person in our team runs smart cover with the recharger mod simply because it gives you a damage boost and it heals you when you're behind cover, so it does mean that when you get bombarded with grenades, you can basically just sit there in cover. If you have 4 of them stacked, they do stack, then they will help you heal through grenades. You will sometimes get thrown off the wall when a grenade blows up, but generally speaking, you will be fine. On top of that, 3 out of the 4 team members we have actually run with the what I call the handbag, but basically a support station. You can throw it down, have a mixture between either the auto revive or the ammo cache mod, and basically that just gives you additional healing. And then we have our 4th and final person run with pulse, so that way we actually get a damage boost. You can of course run with whatever skills you really want, but the reason we do that is just because it makes things a lot more manageable. From there, you then want to sit up here and just snipe and take your time. Again, this is not something to be rushed. You don't have to run down there, try and get up close and personal. Just sit up here, take your time, burn through the waves. And once you get to the very end, there might be like the straggler that kind of runs behind a truck. So for that one, you can move down. But generally speaking, this section here is really easy to clear out, especially if you remain behind cover. And especially if you stick together, because if someone goes down, you're invariably right next to them so you can pick them up. So things shouldn't really go south. Moving on from there, once you've then cleaned this section up, you then want to run down the tunnel, get to the end, kill the 2 guys, and you then need to turn around and defend this section for 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 10 seconds while the enemies come your way. However, this can also be made a lot easier. See, the way that this works is that you need to defend this section for 2 minutes while these enemies come at you, but they'll only ever spawn new waves of enemies when you kill the last wave. So you can just blitz through every single wave when it comes your way and kill them continually. But of course, when you do that, it burns through ammo and makes things a little bit harder. So what you can actually do if you want to make things a lot easier for yourself is hide behind the box, kill all but one of the first wave. The best thing to do is kill all the rushers, the guys with the golf clubs and the baseball bats, and leave the heavy machine gun guy, the guy with the rocket launcher icon, because he will never really push up like the other ones. He will push up quite close and then he'll run back and hide behind a car and basically just mount up his machine gun and start firing at you. So what you can then do is just sit there until the timer runs out, until it says on screen, clear out the rest of the people in the tunnel. And once you've done that, you kill that one single guy left, and that's this section of the mission done. You don't then need to fight through 4, 5, 6 waves of enemies. You can just fight through one, and it's then completed. And for the next section, you're then going to go in and meet up with Roy Benitez, and you're then going to go and the front door is going to get blown up. The people are going to rush in, and believe it or not, a lot of people do actually go up to the top and fight from the walkway, or go out the front and fight from the balcony. However, we've actually found, having done this quite a lot recently, the easiest place to fight this is actually on the ground floor. If you all stack up behind here, make sure you shoot that gas canister first so it doesn't explode in your face. Group up behind this wall, put down smart cover, again put down your healing boxes, and shoot all the rushers that come through the door. After that, you then want to start marking enemies and team shotting each of the big heavy guys, because they do hit hard, and of course they will be firing at you while you're shooting. So team shot them, take them all down, and once you've done that, you then want to advance up and move towards the right. The reason for that is because the next wave of enemies will drop down on top of the lorry. Again, if you group up behind the police car, drop your smart cover, drop your healing boxes, you can then blitz through that wave, and after that, the 2 snipers are going to be your main focus. You want to turn around, jump up on the ambulance, go up and simply rush them, and from there you're then pretty clear. There might be a few stragglers you might have to clear out, but generally speaking, everything should be pretty much under control. After this part, you're then on the final stage of the mission, so for that the gates are then going to open, so if you're quick enough and you can drop down, get behind this police car here and throw down your cover, kill all the rushers that come towards you, because again, normally the way these challenge mode missions work is that all the heavy artillery guys tend to hang back, so you can just get rid of all the weak guys at the beginning, and once you've got those under control, you can start pushing forward as a team. I would say if you've got a good team that you can communicate with, mark your enemies with up on the D-pad, focus fire all of them and team shot all of them, and that way instead of each person working on a different target, you can just burn through them that much quicker. Clear all the stragglers in front of the lorry, run behind the lorry, clear all the other guys after that, and leave the boss to the very end. The reason you want to do that is because generally speaking he won't drop down, so you can then clear out all the rest of the ads, and you can then all jump up on top of the lorry, rush him down, kill him, and that's the end of the mission. And that's it. That is all there is to it. Lincoln Tunnel Checkpoint is definitely the easiest of the challenge mode missions, so once you do hit level 30 and you do start to gear up, I'd recommend starting with this one simply because it's the easiest one to manage at the beginning, and then once you start working through them and feeling more comfortable, you can then start working from there. Either way, that's one of the most efficient ways to do the missions, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then a like would be super appreciated. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. And I will of course be following up this guide with guides for Lexington, the Russian Consulate, and the Warren Gate power plant. So keep an eye out for those, but aside from that, thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.